If you're having difficulty reading your samples because of an innate yellow tinge to the water, IDEX offers colisure, a test with a magenta positive endpoint, which fluoresces when positive for E. coli. Colisure is a 24-hour test with a 24-hour read window, which is more convenient for some laboratories. Colisure is available in a 100 milliliter format. Materials required to run the colisure test are sterile, transparent, non-fluorescent 100 milliliter vessels, colisure reagent, a temperature-controlled incubator, UV protective eyewear, and a 6-watt 365 nanometer ultraviolet lamp. All of these items are available from IDEX. To perform the colisure presence-absence method, first collect your water samples as described in standard methods for the examination of water and wastewater, or according to your local regulations. Next, allow the sample to equilibrate to room temperature. Carefully separate one colisure snap pack from its strip, taking care not to accidentally open the other packs. Aim the snap pack down into a 100 milliliter sample and open it by snapping back the top at the scoreline. Be careful not to touch the opening of the pack. Cap the vessel and shake it briefly. The sample will turn yellow with a fine precipitate. Incubate the sample at 35 degrees C plus or minus 0.5, or if applicable, according to your local regulations, for 24 hours. After 24 hours of incubation, read the results of the colisure test as follows. If the sample is yellow, it is negative for total coliforms and E. coli. If the sample turns a magenta colour, it is positive for total coliforms. If the sample is magenta, look for E. coli by shining an ultraviolet lamp on the sample in a dark environment, staying within 5 inches, 12.5 centimetres of the sample, and shining the light away from your eyes. If the sample fluoresces, it is positive for E. coli. If there's no fluorescence, the sample is negative for E. coli. Samples are negative if at any time after 24 hours the sample is not magenta and there is no fluorescence. Magenta or magenta with fluorescence observed before 48 hours is a valid positive. However, after 48 hours, heterotrophs may overwhelm colisure's inhibition systems. Therefore, magenta colouring or magenta with fluorescence first observed after 48 hours is not a valid positive. Be sure to dispose of positive samples according to local regulations.